Hey, it is time for our daily dose of some good feels. I'm Billy Yonka. Thanks for joining us for this. And good feels is always brought to us by our friends over at Riverside Healthcare, putting well within reach. And so there's a popular theme that you hear as seniors get ready for graduation from high school. And there's always a theme where young people are saying, and they're pledging, they're leaving their hometown and never coming back, right? We hear that kind of thing over and over and over again. Now, as someone who moved away for years, I can say, I get it. I get that feeling, but I can say as someone who eventually came back home that you can come back home with a fresh point of view and kind of a new energy for your hometown. Now, my brother has an observation that I wish I could take credit for. And he often says, so coming back home feels like I'm in a movie where there's not enough extras. You keep seeing the same people. The person in the grocery store is also the person in the bank. So it's like they just reuse people like a high school musical. They can just rotate those kids back in, right? Well, there's a couple other things that I want to share that I love about life here, and hopefully you do too. Well, I love that I can be stopped in my car, downtown Kankakee, kind of near the courthouse, and I can see just the vague outline of someone walking into the post office. I can't really see much detail, but I can see how they're walking. You know that? You've seen people like from a distance, and I can tell from a distance, hey, that's Jerry Kilbride. I know that walk. And I could do it with maybe a dozen different people around town. And there's something strange that just feels good to me about that. I love the teachers here teaching students and then years later teaching their kids. I just feel like that happens in communities this size more than it does in big suburban places or in big cities. And maybe what I love most of all is the way people pull together for each other. We see this time after time, whether it's something to celebrate, like high school sports teams, or if it's something that we need to pull together and support people for, fallen officers, sick kids, all sorts of things that people need support. And I feel like in a community like ours, they get it. I think the most telling thing was that I did spend with my brother a whole summer in New York City, in the Astoria neighborhood of Queens, just over the bridge from Manhattan. And I came home and people asked me, oh, what is it like? What's it like there? And the things I would describe were, well, it's this cool little neighborhood. I got to know the people who live next door and then the people around the corner. And then there's a little corner store that you can walk to if you need something. And there's a little watering hole that has this beer garden in the back. And there's a little restaurant that you can go to that's not that far away. And I realized, you know what I love about this? Is that it feels like Ashkum. It feels like a really small town. So I guess that's the thing. Even if you get away to a big city, I think if you grow up in a place like this, the things that are going to feel good, the things that are going to feel natural, are the things that feel like community and feel like home. Our Good Feels is always brought to us by our friends over at Riverside Healthcare, putting well within reach.